Hey guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to do your handover video on your new venture, New Surf. So if you're starting with the bonnet, engine coolant over here on the left hand side, washer fluid, engine oil is the way you top up your engine oil, and you actually check your oil from this dipstick here. If you have just driven the van, just be careful when pulling that out because it's right next to the turbo and all the exhaust there, so just be careful with that, it'll be hot. Your power steering fluid, that is your brake fluid, just there, attached to the servo down on that side. Power steering fluids down here on the left hand side. Your engine battery sits under here, so both of your positives are here at the front, and then you can earth it from somewhere else. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly where, but there is its own sort of negative point to jump from if you needed to. So that's where that is. Other than that, it's just basically a few fuses and relays about, but that's about it. So I think that's all I can show you for under the bonnet. Passenger side in the cab, got your mirror adjustment, so that's a manual mirror adjustment on the left hand side, and the same on the right hand side. Glove box with your OBD reader just down there. Also got your electric mirror windows, there in the middle, hazard lights, locking, and then all your fan settings there in the middle. Alright, so if I just go around the driver's side now. So on the driver's side, we've got a few other bits and pieces. So under here, this is also to do with your radio. So you can sort of change the source and skip songs and things like that from there. Left-hand stalk, you've got your lights, indicators on the left-hand stalk, and then your washers and washer fluid on the right-hand one. Reversing camera literally just comes on as soon as you start driving. You can turn it off if you like, if it's going to put you off, but you can do it like that. And then obviously you just got your radio system in there. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. You've got a 5-speed manual gearbox, and reverse is down bottom right, like that. A little bit of storage under here, and your handbrake's just down here on the left hand side. So say on this side we've got your boiler vent just here, so that's your heating and your hot water. So I've got it on at the moment on hot water only, and I can feel hot air coming out from the little gap under here, under where it says Truma. And if you start to see water building up, then that is doing now. That's absolutely normal. It's just basically steam coming out from the boiler itself. It's not something you need to be worried about at all. Even if it starts dripping down the side of the van, it's totally normal. 240, so that's when you're at your campsite or at home. Plug in there and you have access to using your boiler on mains, fridge on mains, plug sockets, battery charger, all those kinds of things will start working then. Your waste drain is down here, got it open at the moment, so you can see that it's just draining out any water that's gone down any of the sinks. Your toilet, so your actual cassette is down there, but let me just show you the flush fluid at the top. So key in there and open it up. So that's where you put your flush fluid in, so that's your pink fluid. You need to pre-mix that with some water or buy some pre-mixed stuff, but that's where that goes in. About 2-3 litres in there will be plenty for a long time. Taking the actual cassette out, you need to lift up this little yellow lever at the bottom and just pull it out all the way. The yellow button in there, you need to hold that down when you're emptying it. It's a pressure release valve, and everything else in here is all being lubricated as part of the hab check. Your blue fluid goes in here, about 1 or 2 capfuls in there, and that's it. That's where you drain it out from as well. But yeah, that's the toilet. Fridge vents here at the back. Just pop that down. So if you've got it on gas like I have at the moment, you'll be able to feel hot air coming out through the top of this vent here. and that's how you can definitely know that your fridge is on and working. So that's an easy. Gas locker, so got a pretty new looking pigtail. It will obviously be in date because we did the HAB check, but that's a 6 kilo propane bottle. You don't need to worry about anything up here on the regulator. All you need to do is when you come to changing your bottle, undo this nut here and then pop it onto the new bottle and tighten it up, and that's it. So that's your gas locker, nice and easy. To turn these bottles on, it's anti-clockwise round to the left, and obviously clockwise round to the right for off. But I'm going to leave it on for now because I've got a few bits on gas to show you. Your water point, so your fresh water, it's just here. So you're going to push in and then you'll be able to pull that out. So basically push in and turn like that, and then when you've done it the other way like I just did there, turn the key and take it out, and then you won't be able to take that out whatsoever. And then also your diesel point is just behind the door, and that'll be using the ignition key to get that out. But yeah, so that's about it for the outside. Your step button is just here, so that goes in and out nice and freely. Okay, so first thing first, I'll show you the control panel. So external temperature, internal temperature. In fact, it might even be the other way around. So internal temperature, external, because it said I and E. Battery levels, so you've got 12.3 volts in your caravan battery and 11.4 in the engine battery. I don't think that's actually right because it starts up perfectly and that's a little bit low. So we'll make sure it's all good, but I'm pretty sure that gauge is just slightly wrong, so don't worry about that. Fresh water level, so you've got 70% fresh water. It doesn't tell you your wastewater, but you can gauge that by just emptying it out whenever you can. On and off main switch for the control panel, top right hand side. Lights inside, lights outside, and your pump. So if I just turn them all on again, there you go. So you just got lights and pump, and once you've done that, you're going to want to come to your sink here and just pour the water through on the hot side for a minute, and just make sure that there's no big loads of air coming out, which there's not, so I can see already that that's fine. And if when I turn that off, the pump runs off just like it just has, then that means there's no air in the system, and you're ready to go and start using your boiler. So that's that's the first thing you want to do really. Turn your pump on, come to the sink, pull the water through. Just make sure there's no big air locks or anything like that in the system. But that's one quick and easy way to work that out. Your hob is over here, so you've got an igniter on each of these. That does the ignition for all 4 hob rings and the grill. So they've all got their own little diagrams on them telling you which one's which, but basically you've got a thermocouple on each of these, and what that means is once you have it lit, the thermocouple will notice that there's burning gas coming through, and so if somehow the flame gets blown out, the thermocouple will notice and it will stop any excess unburnt gas coming into the van. So we've checked all of them on the HAB check and they all work as they should, so that's all good. Down in this little cupboard here is your battery gas isolator taps. So you've got your fridge, water and heating, and your hob. So if you had a problem with any of those, or you thought you had a gas leak or something like that, you can isolate them from there, and sort of let us know obviously, but you can sort of isolate it and then move on with your holiday, carry on. So that's how you do that. So that's them in there. If I just turn your fridge off, I've got it on at the moment, but I'll just turn it off. So the way you use these fridges, nice and easy. If you had a hookup cable plugged in, you pop it there, and that'll cool the fridge down via the hookup cable, which on the HAB sheet I've written down how many amps that pulls. If the engine's running, you pop it there, so that'll cool the fridge down or keep it cold via the 12 volt element. And if you wanted to cool the fridge down via the gas, you go all the way down to the bottom, push and hold on this left hand dial, and push and hold on your igniter. Okay, so if I just do that, oh, it's a bit awkward with one hand, but so straight away this little orange lever little line very slowly starts to go up. All right, it is quite awkward to see, which is why I showed you how to check it from the outside. These aren't the best little gauges in the world, if I'm totally honest with you. So if when you light it up, after about a couple of hours, you'll start to feel inside this freezer compartment cooling down. But the best way to go and check that it's actually lit is to go outside and put your hand over that vent. It's the most sort of accurate way of knowing. But yeah. So these fridges will get cold on the electric or the gas. So the 12 volt here, when the engine's running, that won't get the fridge cold on its own. Okay, so don't think that you can sort of fill the fridge up with stuff and then drive to somewhere with it here and it'll be cold when you get there, because to be honest with you, it won't. So you need to have the fridge cold first before you leave, either on gas or electric. And then when you get to leaving, you can switch it down to the 12 volt. And when you get to where you're going, everything will be really, really cold still. But yeah, that's just how they work. So yeah, that's the fridge. That's the 3 ways of using the fridge. Bathroom. Got your sink unit here, which is really, really simple. Cold water, pump kicks in, over to the hot. Pump stays on, no air locks or anything like that. And then you'll notice there's no actual drain in the sink itself. So the drain off is, there's 2 little holes, one down there, one down there. And if you lift this up slowly, water will drain down the back, straight into your waste tank. That's it. Toilet. The only thing to point out with this, I'll show you how it works obviously, but you need to make sure that you leave the flap closed, because when you go to empty it out, if you don't have the flap closed and it's open, you won't be able to take the cassette out from outside, it will be locked in. So you need to make sure you close it up after using it. Push this button at the top, that gives you your flush fluid. You can see slightly pink fluid, so that's perfect. And then drain it out like that. Close the flap. I'll just put a little bit more around. I'll pop a little bit more in there, actually it's empty. So close that back over. That's it, that's your toilet. Super easy. Got a light in here, so that's nice and bright, both bulbs working. And then lock the bathroom door so that won't come open when you're driving. Okay, so then we've got the boiler itself. So if I show you how this works, it can be a little bit, a lot of information to sort of take in at once, but let me just go through it with you. So at the bottom, say true Combi E. Okay, so I always think of that as Combi Energy. All right, so that's your energy selector for the boiler. So this one down here on its own won't do anything. Okay, it won't do anything until you tell the boiler what to do with this top one. But if I just carry on, so at the bottom, Combi E, where it is at the moment, facing that little flame symbol, that means gas only. All right, so your boiler will only work on gas. If I went down 1 or 2, that's gas and electric. All right, so then if you've got a hookup cable in, the boiler will work on the gas and the electric at the same time. If I went up 1 or 2, then that is electric only. And so the boiler will literally do whatever you tell it to do, but it won't use any gas, it'll only use electric. So if you leave that how it is in the middle, for the most part, I can imagine, you know, normally you would use the boiler on gas. So I'll leave that how it is there. Plus I've got the gas on at the moment and I don't have a hookup cable plugged in. So that's where I would leave that bottom one. And then at the top where it just says Combi, that is your actual boiler controller. So if I go up 1 or up 2, I'll get a green light in there, and then I'll get a little orange light as well, telling me that the water is heating up. So 40 degrees hot water or 60 degrees hot water, it's as easy as that. And there you go, there's the orange light. So yeah, so up is hot water, 40 or 60, and then back to the middle for off. Down just 1 is heating only, and down 2 is heating and hot water. So heating and 60 degrees hot water. So it tells you which is which. So heating symbol, hot water symbol. So at the bottom is both. 1 down is heating only. 1 or 2 up is hot water only. And then in the middle there is off. And that green flashing light basically just means that the boiler's sort of cooling itself down, if you like. So the fan will stay on for a little while, a little combustion fan inside there. So yeah, so at the bottom is your energy selector for the boiler, and at the top is just telling the boiler what to do. Now don't worry about these numbers in here very much. That's only really for the fan setting for the heating. So if you're in a real hurry for some heat, then you can whack it all the way up to 5. But if you don't, just leave it where it is. But yeah, so that's how that works. That's the boiler. And then to have it all the way off, you know, totally in its off position, is just leaving this one at the bottom wherever you you know, it doesn't matter, as long as this one at the top here is in the middle, facing the little O. That means the entire boiler is off. So yeah, so I know it's a bit much, but you know, that's how it works. I'm just having a look at these cupboards. Got loads of stuff in this overhead locker above the cab. So you got your little table under there, a roll away for your waste. Actually, that's a nice thing to have. So you basically pop that underneath your waste tank, and then you can roll it to wherever you're, you know, if you can't drive over your waste disposal point on your campsite, then you can roll it away there. Awning winder sits up here as well. I've had that out and checked that and lubricated it, and that's all fine. So okay, pop that away. Lights, nearly every single light, in fact I think every single light around here in this fan has its own switch. So you can go around, make it your own, choose which ones you do and you don't want on, because I'm sure there'll be some that are, you know, you might find annoying, or you know, some that you like more than others. That's that. Blinds clip in like that, and then come back up, and then the same with this, just like that. The only thing I'll point out with your windows is that you've got a latch style window. So what that means is, if I just show you the way these work, they open up like this, all right, and then you've got another one, then another one. Okay, but what you got to remember, if you were parked up against a wall or another van or a car or whatever, if you had it out like this, you can't just pull it straight back in. All right, so if you open this up right up against something, you can't just pull it back, it won't go back. So you need to push it open a little bit more to allow it to come in, you see. So what I'm trying to say is, if you park too close to something and open the window right out to it and it clicks like that, then you won't be able to pull it back in, and you'll have to take these 2 screws out and refit them. So, and it's not hard, but you don't obviously want to be doing that. So make sure you've got a fair distance away from anything, at least that far, so that you can bring it back in. All right, so at least another few inches away, so that you can pull it out and back in again. But like I say, you know, you can't just put it back, it won't go. All right, so that's the way these latch windows work. They're absolutely brilliant, because when you have latched it like that, they're not going to move, but they're not so good when it comes to parking up against things, because you know, you don't want to have to worry about not being able to bring the window in a hurry. So that's how that works. All the way open and then down. And that's the same for your window here as well. So just bear it in mind. Your main skylight up here, I've got it on one of these first little latches here, so you can have it open a little bit, or you can go again one more so it's open just a little bit less, or you can have it all the way open just by pulling it all the way up, so that's really quite wide. And then to close it up, just literally push it all the way up and over, and that's it. That's how that closes up. Before you drive off, you're obviously going to make sure that your gas is not on. You need to go out there and turn it off. Even if you're not using any gas appliances, it needs to be off before you drive. Then just come here and turn all of these off, switch the control panel off, go around sort of like, you know, batten down the hatches if you like, you know, just go around, make sure there's nothing sort of loose and nothing's going to fall around the place. Make sure these are down before you start driving, otherwise they make a right racket when they drop down or break. You know, sometimes if you don't drop them down first. Leisure battery is under the offside settee here, and you've also got, sorry for the angle, but you've also got your trip switches and fuse box down there as well. So yeah, that's how that works. That's where all that is. And then you've got your freshwater tank. Yeah, that's it. So I think I've covered everything I can cover, to be honest with you. Just trying to think, is there anything else? No, I don't think so. So yes, so if you think I've missed anything out, let us know. If you want anything else covering, then just let us know as well. But otherwise, look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.